All right, everybody, we are currently going into Infernal Shrines, and it is Fell Infused going up against the John Cena's, which is actually perfect for the map here. So we're going to have a lot of John Cena action one way or another. But this is, of course, not a complete pro game. So if you guys actually watch this right now because you're saying hey, I want to see the best Heroes of the Storm that Europe has to offer, then you're definitely at the wrong place for that. This is an amateur league and an amateur tournament, heroeslaunch.gg. If you're actually looking for a place where you can play a little bit more competitively, and you can just play either alone or as 5 friends that want to participate there, then just head over to heroeslaunch.gg, check it out. These guys are running divisions, they run seasons. You can play on no matter what level you play, you will find people to play with there, and then you can do that a little bit more competitively once, twice a week. So definitely check it out, have a look at it. It's a total grassroots scene for Heroes of the Storm. It's pretty fantastic. So if you haven't heard of them yet, then definitely check it out and maybe participate with a couple of friends. We're going to go into a best of 3. This is a special tournament that the guys are currently hosting, and in this case we have already Zagara and Sylvanas banned. So 2 heroes that are really just focusing on pushing, and especially when it comes to top lane action for Zagara, are banned out. Zagara got nerfed a bit in the last patch, lost a lot of her damage. Basically every single ability that she has was tweaked down a little bit, but still oftentimes very annoying. Sylvanas, of course, can, with the good old Punisher, just push really hard. That's one of the reasons why it was banned out. Rough baby, the 13-month resub. Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. And yeah, Fell Infused, they went into the Carrigan right away. So they're going to go for an aggressive comp here, trying to jump in. Yeah, even more loyalty. And, oh, there it is. Okay. Atsukopi, thank you very much for the sub, my friend. But as I was saying, Carrigan picked here, trying to go for an aggressive comp, jumping in, trying to just isolate a couple of targets, lock them down with the stuns, take them apart. And the Cenas, they said, you know what? Carrigan together with an ETC is pretty beastly. It's played in North America a lot, and we have seen how much that can do. An easy slide from ETC followed by Carrigan's stun combo. Thank you very much, but we don't really want to deal with that. They take ETC themselves and the global presence that Falstad has to offer. Fell Infused now going into the Chahana. Not quite the hero that you would have necessarily expected here together with a Carrigan. Could have seen something like a Turiel, for example, for the Sanctification, a Murden maybe for the Priest stun. There's a couple of options of what you have, but they decide to go into a Johanna. And of course, a lot of the wave clear that she usually has with Knight Takes Pawn is now baseline on the Condemn. Blizzard has changed a couple of those talents around for her slightly. Rhaegar also great on this map since he offers a lot of AoE damage with his Lightning Shield. So they are already with a setup that will still allow them to get a lot of presence on the shrines themselves and just trying to use Johanna plus also then that Rhaegar to make sure that they get as many of those minions as possible, and then maybe the Punisher. The bans, on the other hand, now, where the Cenas are going for a Kel'Thas ban. Still, he offers a lot of AoE here. The focus is a bit more on the Flame Strike build compared to the Living Bomb that we had in the past. But he is definitely a hero that can definitely, burn you a new one. So they have to be a bit careful, yeah. Marty Hard, thank you for the resub, buddy. And apparently an Uther banned out by Fell Infused. Now, Uther plus ETC, that Divine Shield combo with a Mosh Pit can of course be game-changing, but oftentimes it's really not all that easy to land that Divine Shield properly with a Mosh Pit and really get that timing down cold, especially if you have already interrupts in the form of Johanna, Carrigan as well. So they're currently thinking, do we really ban him out? Do we not? Oriel is also oftentimes banned here. In this case, we could see her for the Cenas. They have the next double pick. They don't really have to pick a healer right now. I would still kind of recommend it because they would still have that flexible last pick to react to whatever Fell Infused is going to do with their next 2 picks here. So right now, I guess we are going to see a bit more damage for them, which could, for example, be a Li Ming. Of course, she doesn't really shine on Infernal Shrines as much as she does on other maps, but she's still fairly strong, and she can offer a lot here. Since they already run a false that they could use that Li Ming. They could go into a Jaina here. They have a Zul now, so Li Ming and Jaina can do a whole lot with a good Bone Prison as a setup. The ETC, if he lands that Mosh Pit, then either one of these mage heroes would do an enormous amount of damage to take these down. If you get the resets on Li Ming, of course, she's fantastic. But right now, they are going into that Vala. And I've been talking about Vala already a bit earlier today. She has, of course, seen a massive amount of changes. And no, they switch into the Sonya. I was so happy to see my girl again in the game, and then they just deny her completely here. But Vala is actually pretty strong right now. The multi-shot build that we see from most pros is incredibly powerful to not only wave clear, but also to just dish out a lot of damage against heroes. There's a couple of ways to play her these days, but most of the high-level players will just showcase that multi-shot build. And it's definitely something that we're going to talk about in the future, since I have no doubt that Vala is going to be played a bit more often now. Felon Fused is going for a Reyna. And Reyna actually, like, against this many targets up at the front is fantastic. Reyna's problem is positioning. If he gets jumped, if he gets attacked, if the opponent gets close, then he has a big problem there. But if you can keep him in the back line and he's able to attack the frontliners, then he is just absolutely out of this world. Power Spike on level 13 when he gets his Giant Killer, and if you reach level 16, level 20, then this guy is an absolute badass. The Li Ming now also second range damage dealer here. Great setup for Felon Fused, very powerful. Maybe the Johanna, a hero that you wouldn't expect here necessarily, considering that they're running it with a Kerrigan, but still Johanna by no means a bad frontliner. But still, I would have more expected something along the lines of maybe the Muradin in the setup. Li Ming, on the other hand, is going to try and get her resets. Reyna will have to work on his positioning. Sonya could go into Leap, I suppose. I don't really believe she will do that, since just Wrath of the Berserker is such a powerful tool to have on Infernal Shrines. Zul is going to go for the Soak. If they get close enough to Reyna, they could use the Bone Prison or any kind of stunts to take him out. So for Reyna, it's really all about the positioning right now. The heal is still missing for the Cenas, and we could see that Oriel here. There is the opportunity to go into an Charism as well, and that is actually what they do, which leaves them now with an all-melee setup with the exception of Falstad. So not really something, like, this is actually getting tricky. If that Reyna in the late game is able to get his damage in while Kerrigan gets the stun comp in, then the Cenas are in for a world of pain. So Felon Fused needs to be a bit careful here. So guys, we're going to go into game number 1, Infernal Shrines in our best of 3 series at heroeslaunch.gg. Alright everybody, we are going into game number 1 in the best of 3 series, as you can see, and well, in this particular setup we are actually looking at the John Cenas, and they're going up against Felon Fused. There's a little bit of a typo right there, but we're going to fix that, of course. To the left side, in blue, we have the John Cenas with Disco, Datsuk on Sonya, Grimhelm on Karazem, Kabi Johnny on Falstad, Rotface on Zul, and Fist Pump on ETC. He plays the right hero for that. And on the right side, their opponents, it's Namolanya on Kerrigan, aka on Rhaegar, Alks on Li Ming, Lemox on Reyna, and Kromst on Johanna. Keep in mind, once again, this is actually an amateur league or an amateur tournament that we have right now. If you want to check it out, if you want to participate there, you can go to heroeslaunch.gg. You can participate as a team if you have 4 friends that would like to play with you, or you can just participate as an individual player and you get mixed with others. So there's definitely a couple of options for you, so check it out if you want to play a little bit more competitive, no matter what skill level you're at. Right now already, Kerrigan with that stun combo that we've been mentioning a bit during the draft. And also a couple of interesting talent choices overall. Let's talk about those for a moment. First of all, Lemox up to the top lane with his Reyna actually went into the Give Me More. These days you would normally see Reyna go into the Seasoned Marksman. Nice lockdown against Zul at the bot lane though, as the Cenas are taking the first kill in the game. It's definitely a very melee-heavy setup that they're currently running here, and in the late game, I definitely see a few problems, but if they continue with that kill streak, that would be absolutely fantastic for them. The pressure play against ETC is already going strong, as you can tell, and besides that, we have them just roaming between the mid and the bot lane. It's exactly that kind of rotation that you expect on Infernal Shrines. You have one designated hero up at the top lane that is playing a solo lane, and the rest of the team rotates between middle and top. And interestingly enough, with this aggression that they have thanks to the Kerrigan, there hasn't been too much value given by Zul just yet, who's normally a perfect hero for this map, since he just rotates between 2 lanes and pushes lanes back quite easily. That's going to come into play even a bit more once that we have the objective spawning, and that's happening right now with the Shrine activating. So Zul will most likely attempt to rotate between mid and top lane, at least he should do that. And in this case, we're currently seeing the top lane still with Lemox going up against Sonya. That was nearly a kill there. Sonya just barely got away. Down to the bottom of the map, on the other hand, we're having the fight starting over the temple. Zul still staying on lane. He's not starting a rotation between mid and top, not trying to get that value for his team here. We have him on level 1 going straight into Shade, not into the backlash against such a melee-heavy team. Actually, they are very melee-heavy here. They could have used the backlash there too. He's a little bit afraid, it seems, of that auto attack that we have with Reyna. And Reyna going for a super passive build, not even the focus attack on level 4. He goes into the Relentless Leader, which has been changed, of course, in the last patch and also moved to level 4. The blue team is taking control over the Shrine for now, but 29 already, 29 minions against them. Nice combo by Kerrigan and the kill against Sonya. Sonya down the second kill now for the Fel-infused team, and they are doing fairly well here, getting Punisher #1 already. Very well done here, and they start a bit of momentum for themselves. So that snowball could be very powerful. Jailer's taken now on level 4 for Zul, who doesn't go into any of the sustain talent that he of course has. We're seeing Sonya with a focus attack after already going into Warpaint a little bit earlier. And at this point, they're all starting to jump in right away as the bot lane is heavily pressured. Only Reyna missing. He's in the mid lane trying to secure some extra experience. Kerrigan on 4 going for the Fury of the Swamp. Even more AoE damage right now, which helps of course again with those minions. And look at this, it's again the kill against Sonya. This setup is so melee heavy that no matter what Kerrigan does, she always hits at least 1-2 heroes with her combo. Falstad already going for the consequences here, going for updraft. It's going to be a great talent for him later on in the game when he can reposition himself before he uses the Mighty Gust. But it also allows him, of course, to escape from that Kerrigan combo that is already starting to become a problem. As I mentioned before, Johanna got changed a little bit. Now you don't have to go for Night Takes Pawn as a level 1 talent anymore. Blizzard made that more or less baseline already on the hero, so all of a sudden we are seeing block coming into play here for her. And the Laws of Hope on level 4 with then later on Blessed Momentum. Cooldown reduction is the name of the game. The Bladed Momentum also taken here for Kerrigan, so both of those heroes are attempting to get their cooldowns back a little bit faster. We're seeing Lemox at the top lane, still getting his damage in. Keep in mind, very passive build for him so far, even going for fight or flight now. So a very passive Reyna that he plays here. Doesn't go for any kind of shenanigans. Like if you go for heavy damage, then it would be Seasoned Marksman, focus attack, and then later on you can also Revolution Overdrive is normally taken on level 7, but you can later on then also of course add even a Nexus Frenzy on 20 after you go for Giant Killer on 13, and that is already in itself pretty fantastic. Now on the other hand, Reyna is going to be attacked at the top lane and still gets away, and that's mostly because he went for those passive talents. So actually well done here by him. Also a bit of a mistake by Sonya, who did not hit the spear after the initial ETC slide, so that second damage point didn't come into play. Doubt that Reyna would have died with the build that he plays here, but still, that gang not doing anything is a problem, since there was a lot of times and resources wasted for not a whole lot in return. Now we are looking at another shrine up at the top lane. Lemox is still a little bit low, but gets healed by Rhaegar, as we're seeing Ekhoff having taken on 7. The Boomerang after the Gathering Storm. And of course the teams are getting ready once again for the shrine. Zul in this case should, in my opinion, just go and just push the mid and the bot lane. In this case, you want to have the experience. It's very unlikely that you're going to get that second Punisher. Your opponent is already heading into level 10, so the chances of you getting the objective are extremely low. And Zul is doing exactly that right now. He moves to the mid lane, he moves to the bot lane. Again, Sonya in trouble. The damage pressure is happening here. 4 versus 4 fight as Kerrigan herself is on the shrine. She still went for the Siphoning Impact on level 1, which allows her the sustain, of course, to get the objective on her own. And thanks to the Fury of the Storm, she gets that splash damage in there as well. But Zul at least able to close that gap in experience a little bit. He's pushing those lanes back, he's trying to go through those walls a bit, but of course the top lane is going to be under a lot of pressure once that Punisher is taken. And John Cena is going to move in with the level 10 abilities on the side of Fel-infused. They have now also the Wave of Force. Here comes the Hyperion, they're starting to move in. Kerrigan not there yet for the combo. Fist bump moving away, just barely sliding left and right to escape. Zul still pushing the bot lane. The pre-damage taking out the well as is, so no more tapping happening on the side of the John Cena's. The blue team definitely in trouble, and right now Kerrigan even waiting on 39 minions. They all go back to the well, tap that first for mana, for hit points, before they activate the objective and start to push it. in the mid lane, at the bot lane. Again, Zul doing his thing, and right now he closed that gap quite nicely. They don't have level 10 just yet, but they're getting very close to it. Though, of course, this fort is going to fall. There's no doubt about it. ETC goes in. Look at Falstad. He's barreling away. Might even escape here and is barely getting out of this. Fist bump, on the other hand. He is eliminated. Goes down. They should have given up the fort and just waited for Zul to get the experience in so that they can defend with a level 10. Now they are also at a numeric disadvantage because of ETC dying. The rest of the team is already low. And it doesn't help that they are so melee heavy that they can't really poke with anything here. The only range damage healer is Falstad right now. Level 10 would help, but it's still not there. Zul at the bot lane is doing whatever he can to at least give them that. And finally it works out, but the wall is gone. They keep 2 forts eliminated. Zul is going for the trade at the bot lane, has gone into the Skeletal Mages. They're seeing the Mighty Gust. We have a Divine Palm, Wrath of the Berserker, and the Mosh Pit. Maybe with the 10s, they can start to make a bit of a difference now. Already the approach to take Rhaegar on, but Fist Pump needs to retreat and Falstad as well because the reinforcements are on their way. Sonya is doing what she does best, is trying to go for a couple of solo camps, but it's a 2-level lead at this point that we're seeing for Fel Infused. And Fel Infused is doing a very solid job. 5 kills against 0 is already explaining the situation quite nicely. It's all about the rogue abilities right now. You have that Wrath of the Berserker, which gives you the sustain, you have the Skeleton Mages, and we're seeing, of course, the Mosh Pit. The interrupts against the Mosh Pits are pretty obvious. We have the Sonya with the Blessed Shield. Sorry, not the Sonya, the Kerrigan, of course. The Blessed Shield here, and we have on top of that also the Wave of Force, which can, of course, be just saved up to counter that Mosh Pit quite nicely. And this is something that has to happen. Maybe a pre-cleanse could help, but there's no cleanse. There it is already, and the synergy, Kappa, between the Mosh Pit and the Mighty Gust. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because as you saw, immediately Liming used their own heroic ability to cancel the Mosh Pit out, but Falstad using the Mighty Gust in this setup definitely did not really help. So 2 heroic abilities on cooldown as is. Johanna also going for the Blessed Shield here, by the way, but right now it's again a setup where both of the teams are trying to get ready for the next shrine. And that is going to be a level 13 talent that we see now for Fel Infused, which gives them the lead here. Of course, Reina, even after going for a very passive build, still decided to go into the Giant Killer. And I mean, who can really blame them considering how many melee heroes the blue team is running here? He's going to have a target no matter where he is, and for him it's really just important that he does not go to the front line, that he just stays in the back and hits the target that's closest. Isolation kill attempt here, combo not hitting, but Sonya maneuvering herself into a corner quite literally, and this is going to be the end of her. Sonya is going to be dying once again. And now we have 5 versus 4 with a talent advantage in favor of Fel Infused. They're jumping in. Big jump here by Kerrigan. Thanks to level 13 talent. They're going for ETC, and Fist Pump is down. Eviscerate making it possible for Kerrigan to just cross that distance and take him out. 7 kills against 0. And the Cenas now with Zul at the bot lane are starting to become a bit desperate. It's very, it's a bit tragic for them right now because they just don't get any momentum here on a map where you would actually think with that team name they have a bit of an upper hand. Right now we're already seeing another fort being eliminated. We have again the push happening as the Kerrigan is still on that shrine. Kerrigan is already on the shrine, but they take the fort regardless, since they knew that ETC wasn't even with the opponent. It's so close to falling, and that Punisher is not going to have any problems whatsoever here. But it's going to be a 5 versus 5 fight for a bit, but still without that level 13 talent, which is the biggest problem right now for the blue team. The John Cenas, they are in problem. Their namesake is appearing right now. It's the Arcane Punisher. This is like the original John Cena, if you so want, and he's going to jump in and going to rip them a new one. Jumping straight. Well, he doesn't have to jump for that photo or anything because that thing is toast. But yeah, this is going to be ugly. Of course, they have to bait it in, and already Falstad is baiting him in. Nobody follows just yet. Kerrigan could, but they go through the wall, and I like it. And again, the combo on Kerrigan going for the stuns. It's the double kill against Falstad and ETC. Not even getting a chance to use the Mighty Gust or the Mosh Pit here. And now the Punisher might be down, but does it really matter? Sonya eliminated, and Charism is falling. This keep is gone, and they could very well end here. They could push this through and try to end. Two heroes will be back for the defense, though. Would be a bit of a risk. They definitely have the firepower, but they decide against it and decide to play it safe. With Force and his Mighty Gus and ETC in the mosh pit coming back for the potential defense, they don't want to risk anything here, and for good reason. They're totally dominating the game at this point. 11 kills against 0. Level 16 versus level 13 talents right now. We're seeing the life funnel. Sonya realizing she needs more sustain. She doesn't have a chance against the setup at this point. But also at the same time, ETC with that spell shield. A spell shield on Karazim too. He lost his Relentless, of course. But the level 16 talent, that's a bit of a different story. Already Johanna on 13 went straight into the Burning Rage. Now we're seeing the Holy Renewal there taken too. And just look at the Executioner. That alone as a talent on Reyna together with the Giant Killer is absolutely brutal and fantastic once that Rhaegar goes straight in and goes for that synergy with a Colossal Totem on level 1 and the Earthgrass Totem. All those slows, the stuns from Kerrigan, and also of course Johanna will allow Reyna to dish out incredible damage even though he went for a very passive build. Already Reyna has 26,000 damage and is leading the charts here. That bad boy is doing so much work. No focus attack for him with a cooldown reduction once if you go for Nexus Frenzy. If you let Blink go, if you let the Bolt of the Storm go, that talent is of course going to be make you even stronger and more of a killing machine. But right now he didn't even opt for that build and plays a bit of a different style that works out quite nicely for them. 11 kills against 0, pressure on all lanes, and of course a new shrine activating right now. So with this, that could be the end of the bot lane, where we already see one of those towers very near to falling. But Kerrigan is just moving around, is actually like starting to go to the top lane to capture another camp. We're having that now taken, so the Shamans are going to push the top lane, which will create another problem for the blue team. The Cenas will have to push that eventually. They can't fight here, but they know they have to do something. And this is really the moment where they are saying, guys, we need to go for it right now. This is do or die. If we lose that Punisher, they're going to push us in, they're going to take the second keep, and might even go for core. And even if they don't, we have 2 keeps lost, 2 lanes pushing against us. We can't afford that. Here's the mosh pit, immediately cancelled. No chance. Kerrigan goes in for the combo and gets those stuns in. Lemox on the run. Karazim is already down. There goes ETC. It's a double. Falset is dying, and goodbye as Karazim and Zul fall. Everybody eliminated. It's a full team wipe, and they are starting to move straight through the middle to end the game. The camp is pushing the top lane, will also deal with the keep here. Catapults are already on the core more or less, and we are going to see the first game end in favor of Team Fell Infused, which is also a team participating in the league itself at heroeslaunch.gg. They are taking the lead here with a 1-0 after defeating the John Cenas on Infernal Shrines. And of course, we're going to head soon into map number 2 to find out who's going to take the series. Okay, everybody, we are going into our draft. We're going to jump straight into game number 2, where we have Tomb of the Spider Queen. Now, once again, please be reminded that this is amateur league, right? We're currently trying to support the grassroots scene in Heroes of the Storm a bit. Heroeslaunch.gg is for Europe the best way where you can actually participate in something like this if you want to play semi-professional. It doesn't matter what skill level you're at. They have divisions for every single skill level. They have also the opportunity as a single player to join a team. You don't have to sign up with 5 players, so definitely check them out. Heroeslaunch.gg. It's a great thing, so if you want to play a little bit more competitive, then that's definitely where you can do that. Fell Infused is currently ahead against the John Cenas, and they start here currently in the draft at least as a blue. We have Azul currently banned out, and Zagara as well. It's Tomb of the Spider Queen. Wave clear reigns supreme here, so that's one of the reasons why those 2 heroes are immediately being banned. Is also the reason why the Cenas are saying, Sylvanas, hell yeah. She's pretty fit and pretty sexy for an undead chick, I have to say. Kerrigan also not too shabby, and I mean, let's face it, Fell Infused was already rocking with the Queen of Blades pretty nicely on the last map. They don't run the new skin, which is, I feel, a bit of a crime, but overall, Kerrigan is, of course, on Tomb of the Spider Queen also rock solid. I would say from a hotness factor, she's not quite on Sylvana's level, because like those bone wings in the back would creep me out a little bit, but to each their own. I mean, Reyna apparently digs it. But yeah, so not really the best thing to compare here, but I would say from the sexy factor, I would give Sylvanas definitely a couple of extra points. That's not really what matters here, on the other hand. There's a few things that are a little bit more important in this game than that when it comes to like the games itself. Talon, thank you very much for the resub. And one of the things that's a little bit more important is how much damage do you actually get out with those bad boys, or utility. And after the last game, the ETC was denied to the Carrigan team. All of a sudden, Fel Infuse has the first double pick and is saying, like, you know what? Carrigan is pretty awesome, but we want to have ETC with her too, because that guy knows how to rock. So we have ETC Carrigan, which is pretty amazing. Since you slide through, it's basically the safest stun that you can get in the entire game. And then Carrigan says like, oh my god, look, a stun target, thank you very much. Combo, bam, in your face. The Cenas, on the other hand, they take Johanna. And Johanna with the wave clear is another great hero for this map. It's probably her strongest map. Yep, I still believe that's the case. And we have right now a Jaina. So already Sylvanas for the pressure. We have Johanna plus Jaina. Jaina can do a whole lot of work if you set something up for her. I mean, the best way to dish out the damage with Jaina is if you have someone else that locks the target in place, and then you just simply try to drop that Blizzard, you drop the Ring of Frost, you drop everything that you can muster there. But the problem, of course, always is that Jaina is also a little bit on the weak side when it comes to the hit points, and that Carrigan is basically Carrigan is a bit of a femme fatale, if you ask me. I mean, she's one of those girls that doesn't really tolerate other girls besides her. There are a couple of exceptions overall, but she's a bit jealous. And I mean, we've seen that in StarCraft. She doesn't really like anybody getting too close to her boy. And I mean, this could be ETC in this game. I don't know. The problem is she has already 2 girls against her. And Carrigan, she really likes to take out a Sylvanas or a Jaina. She likes her quite a lot. So that's a priority target for her. And once that the catfight starts, I would put my money on Carrigan, I have to say. Jaina, she can be pretty nasty. I mean, she is the Ice Queen. She can do a whole lot of work there. But Carrigan, I have to say, like, that's my money is there. And especially with ETC helping her out, that is brutal. So, I don't know. Falstad, yeah. I mean, if you go for ETC Carrigan, what do you want? You want, of course, also having a little bit of burst damage there. You already lock the targets down, zip, zip, and then you want to have someone who has a little bit of a boom behind that. And Falstad with Boomerang can actually do that, but oftentimes you see other heroes also being complemented in here. Liming, for example, in this case banned out. Thrall, by the way, also banned, so that bot lane presence that we have from a Thrall oftentimes not really the case here. The John Cena's, on the other hand, as I said, they need a healer, but they also have that Jaina and Sylvanas set up. I would really like them to have another frontliner there. They need a cleanse, of course, against Carrigan and ETC, so whatever hero they are not going to go Oriel. Oriel would shock me a little bit, because I feel Oriel would just like present another target to the stun combo. They need a cleanse in this setup, and I am curious to see who they are going to go for. Uther is still out there. They played a Charism with limited success, so we'll see. Crisal, thank you very much for the sub. Cheers, bro. And yeah, the Cena's apparently a little bit flustered here for a moment. Not quite sure what they should pick. It's actually not really an easy choice, like thinking about it. I would maybe even think about going into a Tyrael, to be honest with you. There's the Charism again. Should you go for the Tyrael? Metaphor underdog. Thank you, bro. You see, this time no animation behind it. I don't like it. It's weird. But dude, thank you very much for that. Haven't seen you in quite some time.
Keep doing what you're passionate about. This amateur series is great.
I like that you enjoy it. I really love that we have stuff like that in the US. You have Chair League. In Europe, we have Heroes Launch, and I really feel like those guys need a bit more support, and that's what we're trying to put in here. But yeah, great to have you back watching, buddy. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy the show. Don't forget, tomorrow, Meta Madness is also going to be pretty cool. But for now, we are interested about the last pick, right? And what are the Cenas going to do? Ethereal, as I said, with Sanctification might be a good idea here. But they go into the Vala. Like, look at this. This is nearly an all-female team that they have right now. Only Charism is there. And you have 4 girls on one side. And who are they going to go for? The bald guy. Great taste. Great taste here. I still don't know if that is necessarily going to be the best setup. I mean, they have the damage output, don't get me wrong. The question is, can they play around that? And we are going to see, by the way, probably the multi-shot build on Vala that I've been talking about in one of the earlier games. It is fantastic, played a lot, and I really want to see if that, in addition to the wave clear, they can also just like punish the opponent with the damage against heroes. Lunara taken for Fel Infused right now. I would have liked them to go maybe with someone that can get a bit more direct damage in. Maybe even a mage, maybe even going for that Kalthus again. Lunara, on the other hand, we know how much damage she can actually dish out, and that poke is going to be very annoying. One way or another, we're going to see if this game is going to end in a 2-0 victory for Fel Infused, or if the John Cena's turn around. Force game number 3. So guys, let's jump straight in to more Spider Queen. Game number 2 has started, everybody, and well, we are on to the Spider Queen. Second game between the Cenas and Fel Infused. Fel Infused currently ahead. And to the left side, we have Disco Datsuk on Vala, finally, my girl. Grimhelm on Karazim. We have KB Juni on Sylvanas, Rotface on Jaina, Fistpump on Johanna. And to the right side of the map, Kerrigan being played by Fel Infused, once again by Normalena. Lenya. We have AKA on Rhaegar, Alks on Lunara, Lemox on Falstad, and Grumshts on ETC. The game is on, and Vala going for the hot pursuit on level 1. Now, I'm still expecting to see a multi-shot build. It's the build that we actually see the most these days. It's a very girly setup that we have there. As I said before, I mean, Karazim is the only guy in the entire team that we have right now. Fist pump with a face check on the bush here, but he still has that iron skin available. Grimhelm, on the other hand, does not, and that is typical. The man dies first. Jeez. They should have gone for a full female setup and drafted that Oriel regardless, but then, let's face it, they wouldn't have had a cleanse, and that's usually a bit of a problem. But yeah, that guy really needs to step up his game a little bit. Talking about the girls, we have Overflowing Kubota taken on level 1 for Sylvanas. We are seeing the Conjurer's Pursuit for Jaina, and the Reinforce is taken here now as well. I have no idea why exactly that message is being shown, but I guess we are going to double check if D&D mode is activated. Sometimes Blizzard just turns that off. It's actually good for us because we're going to get another game here, I suppose, fairly soon. Sylvanas is currently down at the bot lane together with Falstad, so that seems to be the solo lane at least for now. We're having Sylvanas in a bit of trouble against the bird. And in the meantime, the 4-man rotation between mid and top all the way up at the top lane. Fist Pump is already there with his AoE that he's trying to push out. But look at those setups with Kerrigan. This is really like the most dangerous part. Yeah, ETC holding his cooldowns a little bit, seeing if he has an opportunity to stun someone out for a small amount of time to give a setup for Kerrigan so that she can go in. But this is definitely the danger that the blue team is facing right now, that this Kerrigan is going to just like get them into a stun lock over and over again, while Lunara capitalizes on it with the damage. And here once again the combo attempt, not getting it in this time. Now ETC has to move back here, but still, when it comes to the rotation, the red team is winning this quite nicely. The blue team is very, very cautious right now. They know that they have a very squishy setup, and they're just attempting to make sure that they are not really exposing themselves too much to potential potential ganks here. So late game would actually work quite nicely for them if they have an opportunity to get all that damage in. But in the early game in particular, Kerrigan is just an absolute monster together with that ETC. That stun combo is just brutal. Level 4 a bit faster, and again it's the Fury of the Swarm that has been taken by Kerrigan, so going for the AoE. On level 1, even going onto the increased damage from the Impale Blades. And there's that multi-shot build that we've been talking about. Now when we're talking about the multi-shot build on Kerrigan, this is one of the most important talents that you can get with her. Punishments, that your hatred stacks increase the damage. You always want to get some hatred stacks together and then just make sure that you hit one multi-shot after another. Cooldown reduction, usually also a very big part of this. Iron Skin already chosen. Good damage against ETC. Vala needs to be careful as that Kerrigan is still close by. But ETC about to move back here anyways. Protective Shield now taken. We're having Arcane Intellect actually on the side of Jaina. No machine gun build for her. We see Reinforce on Johanna. Don't have to go into the Night Take spawn anymore. It's more or less baseline now for her. And therefore a little bit more safety as the only tank at the front line with the Laws of Hope claimed on level 4 then as well. Besides that though, we are seeing for the opponent's team now the Skybound Wisp taken here. So trying to get a bit more reveal in, not going for that Nimble Wisp that we usually see. We have Falstad also on level 4 going into the Hammer Gain so that he gets a little bit more self-sustain himself. Helps him with the solo lane quite down at the bot lane quite nicely. That's one of the reasons. Lockdown attempt, Karazim once again, but this time Kerrigan might pay the price. She's extremely extremely low. There's the damage, and nice job done by especially Vala, who's able to follow it up, of course, with that movement speed that she now has. Good kill against Kerrigan. That was an important one as well, giving them a little bit more control over the turning points and the attempt to get those gems handed in, especially since the red team is already close to getting a Web Weaver wave on their own, and with ETC turning in, that's going to be the case. Web Weaver number 1 for the red team. Keep in mind that Sylvanas that we have right now for the John Cenas can help them a lot when they have their own Web Weavers pushing those lanes, but we're not there just yet. Both of those teams getting fairly close to the level 7 talent. That should be happening quite soon. Grimhelm is already there. Rotface, they're just pushing the wave out. Web Weaver is coming to play. They shouldn't have no problem be pushing this one. The ETC slide against 3, and Jaina is being attacked immediately and taken down by Rega, who jumps in. The Wolf with the kill. Well done here. Sylvanas on her way back. The level 7 talent already in play for Team Fell Infused. They are with perfect timing now and a numeric advantage that they can use to push with these Web Weavers even more. Already the Blade Momentum taken on level 7 for Kerrigan to get the cooldown reductions in so that she can use that combo a bit more often. But we have level 7 are also ready for the John Cenas, and they have now finally that cleanse that is going to be so important against ETC Kerrigan. At the bot lane, on the other hand, Sylvanas is just attempting to somehow get some damage in, but Falstad is just winning against Sylvanas over and over again. He's doing such a great job here. Sylvanas just not on the same level here as Lemox, and therefore losing that lane once more. She just came back from the well already as is, and now a fort is annihilated, and that's nearly a 2-level lead for the team in red. Here's the Arsenal right now with a cooldown reduction, a very important talent if you want to get the maximum amount of damage out of Vala with that multi-shot build. Sylvanas herself, by the way, with a barb shot as a level 7 talent. Also, we have now again a cooldown reduction with a blessed momentum on the side of Johanna. So still cooldown reductions in the game, one of the most picked talents. Of course, we have all those momentums already in play, but now the level 10s are there. This is really the moment when you're starting to be in a very awkward spot. Your opponent has level 10, you are trying to turn in, but you know that you can't really before you have access to your heroic abilities. And the problem is that it's very likely that the red team will, on the back of this, be able to turn in a second time and get another Web Weaver wave. And your whole idea with the Sylvanas is to really just push a bit and try and snowball with an experience advantage that you get by destroying structures. And that's something that the John Cenas currently can't really do. So that is definitely a problem that they're facing right now. And the red team has just to make sure that they control both of the turning points and that they turn in all those gems themselves. And they're getting closer and closer to having a second turn-in available to them. And they're nowhere near of getting level 10 just yet. The blue team, that is. With 2 forts already destroyed, the one at the top lane and the one at the bot lane, that gap in experience is just widening right now. And again, the turn-in attempt is happening, but they're going for Jaina. There's the damage as Lemox jumps in, nearly getting a kill here, but Rotface is saved as we have Grimhelm with the heals and also, of course, with his shield on level 4. But the turn-in is going to happen, and this is starting to look very, very dangerous. This is not only going to be another Web Weaver wave that comes into play here. It's going to be a Web Weaver wave together with level 10, and oh my god, Vala is down, ETC, and he has the mosh pit. It's interrupted. That would have been a disaster here. That mosh pit could have been fantastic. Yeah, now it's again time for Sylvanas to die as Kerrigan jumps in. Maelstrom is there. Kerrigan is also eliminated, but it's a 2-for-1 trade still, and that works nicely. Once more, a fort is down. The Web Weavers just now coming in. 4 versus 3. Still no level 10s. They're still trying to push in, though. But there's just nothing they can do about this. At this point, it's a massive, massive lead for the John Cenas. And they already won game number 1, which gives them, of course, a massive edge over the opponent. Vala up at the top lane, already trying to defend here before the Web Weaver can take down the wall at the keep itself. Level 10 is finally ready. That gives us the Ring of Frost on Jaina. We're having the Divine Palm and the Wailing Arrow, Blessed Shield. And I would still expect Strafe to be taken here on the side of Vala, so that she can stay a little bit farther back. But she goes for the Raid of Vengeance, and keep in mind that Raid of Vengeance actually got changed a little bit. So right now we have 2 charges on your wave. You don't automatically hit both of them, so you have a little bit more flexibility in the way that you use Raid of Vengeance. It can be extremely important, and it's also, of course, another interrupt against the ETC, which is something that we definitely have to keep in mind here, since ETC's mosh pit is going to be a crucial part in those late game fights. But at least for now, they have level 10. There's no level 13 yet, so this is really the time when you want to turn in. And they have the gem count that they need to get a turn in for themselves. So if they are able to make that happen, then we will see the Web Weavers pushing in. All the forts are already lost for the blue team. The Cenas have to be super careful, and they need to get something done here. They need to turn in. Fist Pump, that's 41, so himself turning in would already seal the deal here. And once that happens, they at least have a chance to get a bit of Sylvanas' value, because right now that's just not happening. Here comes that fight on the other hand, though. Once again, they're jumping in, and they're trying to go for Vala. Vala vaulting out of there. Barely able to do anything, but here comes the stun. The second one hits. The palm on the other hand is good, but the mosh pit, baby. And there they go. Oh my god, all those gems. Look at all that glitter. Oh Jesus. That's 4 kills and an easy boss. Level 13 talents. Fell infused, just playing on a different level here. We're seeing them now with the Giant Killer on level 13 for Lunara. We have the Flow Rider going into the full cooldown reduction build that we have on Falstad to make sure that you just have the opportunity to spam out those boomerangs, those hammerangs a little bit more often. The Face Melt, the Eviscerate for the, as the gap closer. But this is just disastrous for the Cenas. They were trying to force game 3, but this isn't looking good at all. Top lane is being pressured. Before the boss even arrives, the first tower is going to be down, and the gate probably too. Rod Face is there, the boss has arrived, and this is looking more and more like the first keep is going to fall here. The stun against Johanna, the poke on the side of Lunara alone. Again, one of those waves. ETC just sliding in, sliding out. Cooldowns are still available, a few of them at least. The Mighty Gust can be used here, and also, of course, the Divine Palm, but the boss is already on the keep itself, and they are going to try and push for it. They have Nature's Calling as a level 7 talent on Lunara, and that is going to help to take down the structure here. Again, Kerrigan jumping in, not getting the combo off, but the keep is still eliminated. Maybe a kill. Nope, there's the Mighty Gust that we've been talking about, and the disengage. Talking about damage, we have 16,000 on Sylvanas, we're seeing 15,000 currently on Vala, but it's nothing compared to those 21,000 and 22,000 on Falstad and also on Lunara. Good damage pushed by them. Heal numbers also currently in favor of the red team, as they have 23,000 on the side of Rhaegar himself. And he didn't even have the need to use too many of his Ancestrals just yet in the game. That would of course have added up even more. Couple of turn-in attempts, but we're nowhere near another turn-in for the red team just yet. The blue team, of course, hasn't even gotten a complete wave just yet for themselves. No Web Weavers for them. They are struggling to get level 13 to at least, get the level 13 talent. But this is getting a bit nasty. I mean, like right now with 13, what can they actually do here? They will have a little bit more pressure, a little bit more damage on a lot of the heroes, survivability, I suppose, on Karazim in particular. But their problem is really running into these mosh pits, and the Kerrigan also going in for those kills. That Wailing Arrow has to be point on if the engage happens, and so far that just wasn't the case. But level 13 is going to be there soon. The problem is that now we have also Fell Infused heading into level 16. And that level 16 talent is going to be quite the advantage for them. Again, Fist Bump being attacked. Can he get out? But a great setup for that particular Reign of Vengeance. But it's again the mosh pit against 5 heroes. Everybody down and about to die. That's the kill against Karazim. He was trying to save someone. No chance for him. Sylvanas is dead. Fist Bump is getting away. The Ancestral comes through. Level 13 versus level 16. Gloom on the side of Vala taken. That doesn't really help anymore in this setup. We're also seeing now the Stormfront Jaina looking for range so that she doesn't have to get too close to the action anymore. Here's the Mighty Gust into the corner. Nice by Lemox, but a little bit too far in. Needs to retreat, so it gets no value out of the Mighty Gust in the end. Vala pushing them back now with those multi-shots, but right now, as you can see, that 3-level gap between the two teams is just a bit too immense. It is the Windrunner that we have. We're also seeing Hold Your Ground. There's a lot of survivability talents overall that we have at this point for the team in blue, but it is still the game. It's still it's the Fell Infused show, let's just face it. We're seeing them now on level 16 with the Starwood Spear. There's also the aggressive defense. Airy Gust completes the cooldown reduction build with the Flow Rider on 13. But yeah, this is just domination at this point. They're trying to turn in again. They don't just yet have the numbers that they need, but one more gem and that's it. So once that they get that, that's going to be it for now. Gromsh, on the other hand, with all those mosh pits that we've seen from him, that was pretty solid, and he did actually do a very, very good job with that. So once more, we're just like seeing them wait for another opportunity to force that team fight. The cooldowns are still not ready yet though, so they have to wait another 20 seconds until ETC can really get that set up. But they can still use the normal stuns, and Sylvanas is down. Not even Vala could help out here with the Rain of Vengeance. We already have the Ring of Frost on the ground, but all the cooldowns being used means that the red team is finally able to engage again. Falstad has his Mighty Gust up, so disengage is always possible for them. The kill potentially against Johanna. Once again, the gems are lost. No turn-in. Again, no turn-in. They steal the camp away too. Now they have 2 camps pushing through the mid lane. They completely abandon it though and go instead down to the bottom of the map. Camps pushing in the mid lane. Mosh pit against a single target. Just want to try and get rid of the tank at the front line, and they do that. Now they go through the bot lane. They are going to take down the keep in the mid lane. Massive pushes happening as well with a double Knight camp at this point. The Bruisers are going in. The kill against Jaina. It's 15 kills against 3. They're going to go for the core, and they're going to end this game. They're going to make this a 2-0 victory. Impressive play here for sure by the red team. Well done by Fel Infused. They're going for it. They attempt to defend by Fist Pump and the rest of the team that is still alive, but only a 3 versus 5, and of course in the meantime the mid keep is still falling too. A jump into the back line to take Sylvanas down. The core is losing hit points already. Great Ancestral on Carrigan. Even the Mighty Gust to give them a little bit more freedom as they drop that core and win their game. A 2-0 victory against the John Cena as well played. GG, as we're seeing Fel Infused take game number 2.